Welcome to today's edition of Crypto Corner at InvestorIdeas.com. News on what's driving the cryptocurrency market. Hello everyone, this is Sam Mowers here. Welcome to episode 834 of the Crypto Corner podcast. For news today, Galaxy Digital has provided a capital and liquidity update, and both Core Scientific and Clean Spark have reported their quarterly results. Just before we get into the show today, though, a quick reminder that if you enjoy this podcast, to please feel free to share it or leave us a review. And as always, I recommend checking out some of the other podcasts on InvestorIdeas.com. This includes the Cannabis Podcast, the Clean Tech and Climate Change Podcast, along with many others, all of which will bring you up to speed on the latest stock news and trends in their respective spaces. All right, so Galaxy Digital Holdings Limited, which trades on the TSX under the ticker GLXY, has provided an update on its capital and liquidity position and its operating resilience in light of recent market conditions. The company has a liquidity position of approximately $1.6 billion, with $800 million of that in cash and over $800 million in net digital assets. A net loss of roughly $300 million in comprehensive income is expected quarter to date. This, however, is contrasted with the fact that the total crypto market cap has decreased about 40% since March 31st, 2022. The company, according to the press release, plans to continue to invest in its long-term growth strategy while considering the current macroeconomic backdrop. End quote. CORZ Scientific Inc., which trades on the Nasdaq as CORZ, has reported its financial results for the first quarter ended March 31st, 2022. Highlights include a total revenue increase of 255% over Q1 2021 to $192.5 million, the production of 3,202 Bitcoin, and a total hash rate of 16.2 exahash per second at the end of the quarter. The company's CEO Mike Levitt said, quote, "By continuing to focus on execution, we delivered first quarter revenue of $193 million, an increase of more than 250% over the prior year period. In the quarter, we expanded our total hash rate to 16.2 exahash, self-mined 3,202 Bitcoins, and maintained our leadership position in the North American blockchain data center and digital asset mining category. Driven primarily by two non-cash market-to-market adjustments and stock-based compensation expense totaling $466 million, first quarter net loss was $466 million, while adjusted EBITDA of $93 million grew by more than 600%. End quote. Clean Spark Inc., which trades on the Nasdaq under the ticker CLSK, has posted its financial results for the 3 and 6 months ended March 31st, 2022. Highlights include revenues of $41.6 million. This is an increase of $33.5 million from Q2 2021, and total assets worth $424.8 million. The company's CEO Zach Bradford said, quote, "The theme for this quarter has been operational and financial execution. While the whole industry faced macro headwinds, primarily driven by a lower average Bitcoin price, we continued to execute on our infrastructure-first strategy. We have line of sight on 600 megawatts of power, driven in large part by our recent agreement we signed with Lancium at the end of the quarter. We continue to make strides in our commitment to ESG principles, most notably by working on attracting and retaining a diverse and highly qualified workforce. As for our capital strategy, our growth CapEx was funded 100% from the conversion of Bitcoin. We have not utilized the shelf offering since November, and we continue to right-size our capital structure through means of non-dilutive capital." End quote. That does it for today's Crypto Corner. If you would like to be a guest or sponsor for this podcast, contact InvestorIdeas.com. Investor Ideas reminds all listeners to read our disclaimers and disclosures on the InvestorIdeas.com website, and this podcast is not an endorsement to buy products, services, or securities. Investors are reminded all investment involves risk and possible loss of investment. To hear more InvestorIdeas.com podcasts, please visit InvestorIdeas.com/audio. And a reminder, you can also hear our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Audible, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and most audio platforms available.